What's going on there, everyone? I almost didn't want to even talk about this because it's just more race baiting from the left, just more of their typical shenanigans, but I'm still going to talk about it. Limbaugh, this is from the Daily Wire. Limbaugh, Trump speaking absolute truth that's not supposed to be said about Democrat run cities. He's a worm can opener. You know the phrase, open a can of worms. All these dang pop ups. 2 weeks ago, uh, 2 weekends ago, excuse me, President Trump blasted four Democratic lawmakers of Congress for their progressive policies, suggesting they go back to where they came from. Turned out three are native born Americans, and the fourth is an American citizen. Yeah, we all know that. We all know that, and we all know he wasn't being literal. He is a very hyperbolic person. He says stuff to make people angry. But like I've said in numerous videos, that was strategic chaos because he got two things passed without the media even noticing until after it was done. And really, they still haven't spoke on it much. So, yeah, big wins. Big wins for Trump. This past weekend, between rounds of golf at his swanky club outside the nation's capital, Trump opened another can of worms, this time blasting a Maryland Democrat for the dismal state of the city of Baltimore. I don't know how many people have been to Baltimore, but when I worked at this environmental cleanup company, we had a branch in Baltimore. And let's just say it was scary. It was pretty frightening, especially at night because that place is dangerous. Even where we were at, it wasn't one of the worst areas in Baltimore, but still, you pretty much traveled with a buddy at all times. It was a creepy place. And matter of fact, if you look at the FBI crime statistics, Baltimore in 2018 had more murders than Chicago. And Chicago's a way bigger city than Baltimore. So, yeah, half of it's in disrepair. There's violent crime all over the place. It is kind of a crap hole. Sorry. It's the truth. There's nothing wrong with saying that. As usual, Elijah Cummings wants to do the typical Democrat narrative of saying, oh, he's being racist. He didn't say anything about the populist there. He was talking about the politicians that are in charge of those areas don't know what the heck they're doing. And we see this all over the country with these big cities, mostly Democrat run. They're all failing. They're failing the people. Sure, their economies may be doing pretty decent, but for the average person that lives there, it's tough. It's real tough. I mean, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, pretty much every big city in California. He's speaking the truth. Very much so. Back to the story. So sad that Elijah Cummings has been able to do so little for the people of Baltimore. Statistically, Baltimore ranks last in almost every major category. Cummings has done nothing but milk Baltimore dry. But the public is getting wise to the bad job that he is doing, Trump wrote on Twitter Saturday. And another thing is, they keep voting Democrat. Wake up, people. If you want change, you have to vote for change. Let the Democrats know, even if you are a Democrat in these places, don't vote for them. Let them know until you change, you're not going to be in power. Because that's all they want is power. Look how corrupt Baltimore officials are. Maybe three of the last four governors or mayors or whatever have had to resign because of corruption. I mean, come on. This is the state of the Democratic Party. The heads of these places are all from the Democratic Party. And this is the state of the Democratic Party. They don't care about the citizens. They don't care at all. All they care about is getting into power. They are power hungry. They are megalomaniacs. Just as with the other worm can, Trump's comment prompted cries of racism. But radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh said Trump was spot on in his comments, noting, however, that such charges against cities run by the Democrats are never supposed to be uttered. And that's another problem, is people refuse to speak out, and then most people refuse to see. What he's saying here is the absolute truth, but it's not supposed to be said about any place where the Democrats are in charge, Limbaugh said Monday on Fox and Friends. Wherever you find this decadent decay, you are going to find Democrats having run the operation for decades, he said. The Democrats get to claim that they are compassionate and that they care, but they never do anything that actually improves the quality of lives for their constituents. Their constituents are as unhappy today as they were 50 years ago, Limbaugh said. Some of them are, but the criminal elements aren't, because they can do what they want. They're free to move. They're free to do what they please. Look at New York over the past few weeks. You've had places or people throwing water all over the police. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal because it's water now. But that could escalate. I mean, one of the guys did throw a bucket, and I do believe he has been identified and charged with assault. Because the bucket, he threw it square at the cop's head while they were trying to make an arrest. That's Democrat-run areas for you. It's lawlessness. And the police have no backup to do their job from the politicians. Look at it. I think it was the Freddie Gray case in Baltimore. When that situation was going down, the mayor at the time told the police, stand down. Let them riot. Let them get it out of their systems. That's not how a civil society is supposed to work. That is how civil societies break down into anarchy and chaos. When you have people rioting and destroying cop cars and businesses and all that other stuff, you need to send in the police. Because this is America. We're supposed to be civil. You can't be civil that way. There's no civility in rioting. Back to the story. Trump took aim at longtime Maryland lawmaker Representative Elijah Cummings after he was a brutal bully. Excuse me, my head is all messed up. During House hearings on the U.S.-Mexico border, in which he repeatedly berated Border Patrol officials. Which, yeah, I watched that, and it's just a show. There is nothing wrong with bringing out the very obvious fact that Congressman Elijah Cummings has done a very poor job for his district in the city of Baltimore, Trump wrote on Twitter Sunday. Just take a look. The facts speak far louder than words. The Democrats always play the race card when in fact they have done so little for our nation's great African American people, now lowest unemployment in U.S. history, and only getting better. Elijah Cummings has failed badly. Which, that's a factual statement. That is a very factual statement. Our great African Americans that are in our country, which I like to call Americans, I don't like saying African American. These people have generally no ties to Africa. They are Americans. Just call them that. Just call them, I don't know, Black Americans? I don't know. I'd like, in the comments, if you are a Black American, how would you like to be called? Because I think person of color is kind of offensive too, in my opinion. It's like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't know. I just like to call us all Americans. But I digress. Trump also blasted House Speaker Nancy Pelosi of San Francisco, another city mired in problems, from rampant drug use on city streets to an explosion of homeless defecating everywhere. We all have seen pictures on the news. California, the cities, these big Democratic-run cities, are in a state of disrepair. Speaking of failing badly, has anyone seen what's happening to Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco? It's not even recognizable lately. Something must be done before it's too late. The Dems should stop wasting time on the witch hunt hoax and start focusing on our country, Trump wrote. And through a lot of polls, that's the sentiment of a good portion of the country. On Monday, Trump mixed all the worms together, bringing the 4 female lawmakers in the squad. I'm not going to go through and say all their names. Y'all know who they are. Into the mix with Cummings. If Democrats are going to defend the radical left squad and King Elijah's Baltimore fail, it will be a long road to 2020. The good news for the Dems is that they have the fake news media in their pocket, Trump wrote on Twitter, which we all know is true too. Most of the legacy media is nothing but a propaganda squad for the left. And it's plain to see. In a final blast, Trump noted that Senator Bernie Sanders, the Vermont socialist running for president, said much the same thing in 2015. Anyone who took the walk that we took around this neighborhood would not think you're in a wealthy nation, Sanders said, the Baltimore Sun reported. You would think that you were in a third world country. And that's true. If you just go on Google Maps and do the street view of areas in Baltimore, and you'll see exactly what Bernie Sanders and President Trump are speaking on. The place is bad. I mean, it's in disrepair, and it's mainly due to the Democratic policies that are enacted there. They don't care about the people, like I've stated. They care about power. They care about power. And the Democrats have done such a good job of brainwashing their voters into thinking that they're the only ones that care about them, when that is simply not true. They always want to scream about morality and this, that, and the other. They don't have any morals or values. They truly don't. They do and say what they think will make them more powerful. They pander. They don't actually care. It's sad. Trump said crazy Bernie Sanders recently equated the city of Baltimore to a third world country. Based on that statement, I assume that Bernie must now be labeled a racist, just as a Republican would if he used that term in standard. The fact is, Baltimore can be brought back, maybe, even to new heights of success and glory. But not with King Elijah and that crew. When the leaders of Baltimore want to see the city rise again, I am in a very beautiful oval-shaped office waiting for your call. Who are the people? All right. Who are the ones who always want to stop anything? It's the Democrats. They are obstructionists. Like I said, they don't care about the people. This should be blatant, and it should be completely obvious to everyone at this point. At this point in time, I mean, come on. This is ridiculous that we're still having arguments about this. And it's ridiculous that every time President Trump says anything about anything, he's deemed a racist or a bigot or something. Come on. You've done used those words so many times, they don't mean anything anymore. You've ruined it. You've taken the power from powerful words that actually should still be powerful. You know, when real racism happens, it needs to be called out. But because y'all have cried wolf so many times, people don't even bat an eye anymore. People are just like, oh, whatever. That's sad. And that's all from the Democrats. Most Republicans and conservatives don't care about race. We are one America. We are one people. We are the American people. It doesn't matter where your background comes from. It doesn't matter your color of your skin. You're an American. Why can't the Democrats just go with that? Why can't they think more in a populistic way? More in a nationalistic way? You know? Oh, but that scares them too, because I'm a white man saying something about nationalism. Therefore, in their mind, their twisted ideological mind, I'm a white nationalist. Absolutely not. I do not believe in an ethno-state of any sort. I think that would be disgusting and ruin our country. We are one nation, under God. All of us, every single person, black, white, yellow, brown, doesn't matter. We are Americans. The Democrats need to get over their pandering about race, this, that, and the other. They need to stop lying to the public about everything and get on board with trying to actually fix problems in this country. not trying to get votes. If you make the criminals mad because you actually let the police institute the rule of law, oh well. Because most of the criminals don't vote in the first place. Come on, tighten up. And to all my fellow Americans, time for y'all, some of y'all, to open your eyes and tighten up also. The Democrats are not there to help you. They're not there to help any of us. They don't care. Look at their policies. What few they've actually put out barely have anything to do with American citizens. It all has to do with illegals. Giving illegals free health care. Making it to where crossing the border illegally is no longer illegal. They don't seem to have any policies that cater to Americans. It's just sad, and it makes me angry. Because I love this country, and I love the people of this country. All of them. Even the crazy leftists. They're still my fellow American citizens, and I still love them with all my heart. I just think they're slightly crazy. And maybe that soon, hopefully, that'll change. Once they open their eyes, and especially open their mind. Get out of your bubbles. Get out of your little tribes. And do research. Stop reading just left-wing media news. Look at the conservative angles, too. There's been a couple of studies here recently. I don't know if I have them saved. If I have them saved, I'll put a link in the description, but I don't think I did save them. That show that the left only the main majority of the left only looks at left-wing news sources, while the right looks at left-wing and right-wing news. Because we make up our own decision. We read both, and we come to our own decision. The left doesn't do that. The left just goes with what they're told. Stop doing that. For your own good. For your city's good. You know? Stuff like this just really upsets me. Because there's no reason. There's no reason for it. I don't get it. I think people need to start reading into things a lot more. Especially your own parties. Pay attention to what your party's actually doing. Not just what they're telling you they're doing. But I'd love to hear your comments. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the flip side.